no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and holiday. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Amen.
Amen. Yeshua, please be seated. Barakata Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Asherah, Antananawa pa Yagapan Tuaraman, La Yahweh ba Hashem Yahushai, Ath Yasha Allah. English translation: Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it, to Yahweh in the name of Yahushai with Israel. I mad upon you, are you wash them since face Jerusalem? Repeat the Hebrew only. Barakata Yahweh.
Barakata Yahweh.
Hagadol.
Hagadol.
Bakarum.
Bakawan.
Abiyah.
Abiyah.
Manawa'a.
Manawa'a.
Aliyawan.
Aliyawan.
Malak.
Malak.
Shaw.
Shaw.
Shamayim.
Shamayim.
Ba'aratazah.
Baratazah.
Wakal.
Wakal.
Dabaryam.
Dabaryam.
Kayayim.
Kayayim.
Wagum.
Wagum.
Amashiach.
Amashiach.
Mayahawa.
Mayahawa.
Adawanawa.
Adawanawa.
Ahabnawa.
Ahabnawa.
Apalah.
Apalah.
Yawaitazah.
Yawaitazah.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Zakarnawa.
Zakarnawa.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'atazawan.
Ba'atazawan.
Ainka.
Ainka.
Yasha Allah.
Yasha Allah.
Aizarnawa.
Aizarnawa.
Bana.
Bana.
Wasap.
Wasap.
Yasha Allah.
Yasha Allah.
Oh.
Oh.
Nanawa.
Nanawa.
Yamyan.
Yamyan.
Aita,
Aita,
Kayawamiam,
Kayawami,
Makodam,
Makudam,
Abukushat,
Babakusha,
Shalak,
Shalak,
Maika Allah,
Maaka'ala,
Watazawadak,
Watazwada,
Alahayam,
Alahayam,
La,
La,
Maganawa,
Wakanawa,
Wapanawa,
Rapanawa,
Washimor,
Bashimor,
Ayanawa,
Ayanawa,
Baikor,
Baipor,
Shalak,
Shalak,
Aroka,
Aroka,
Shaw,
Shah,
Yahawashad,
Yahushai,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Lala Mudnawa,
Lalamadnawa,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Kakama,
Kakama,
Kabawana,
Bagawana,
Wada Aif,
Wadai,
Shaw,
Shah,
Tobaka,
Tabarka,
Hasham,
Basham,
Yahawashad,
Yahushai,
Wada,
Wada,
Damyad,
Tamyad,
Waiwalam,
Wailulam,
Aman.
Aman.
English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh the great, merciful, mighty, terrible, most high power, King of heaven and earth, and all things living, and also the anointed from Yahweh, our Lord, our friend, the wonderful counselor Yahweh Shai. Remember us, Yahweh, favorably your people Israel. Help us build and gather Israel, Most High, we beg you, right now like the days of old. Please send Michael and righteous powers and angels, righteous powers to protect us, heal us, and watch over us. Mainly send the spirit of Yahushua to us, to teach us much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of thy word. In the name of Yahushua, thank you always and forever. So be it. Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, that give to us the law. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Bahasham Yahushua,
Basham Yahushai,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Natan Lanawa,
Tanawa,
Hata Orat.
Atawara.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, that gives to us the light to see. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Bahasham Yahushua,
Basham Yahushai,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Natan Lanawa,
Tanawa,
Awar,
Awar,
Laorat.
Lawarawai.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, that gives to us the ramson to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Bahasham Yahushua,
Basham Yahushai,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Nathanawa,
Tanawa,
Haran, Hayo, Lakora,
Apara,
Ain.
Ahan.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Bahasham Yahushua,
Basham Yahushai,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Nathan Lanawa,
Tanawa,
Ashaman,
Ashaman,
Zayaf,
Zayah,
Lamashak,
Lamashak,
Yasha Allah.
Yasha'ala.
Yeshua, please be seated. What happened?
something spiritual?
Mhm.
When y'all went downtown last week? Last week I was downtown
Mhm.
at the class. I was looking at your friend, Miss Eaton. I went there at the class. I couldn't hear the milk. I mean, water. Y'all come on. Yeah, okay, I was looking at stuff I had. I couldn't hear it down the water.
Shalom, Yasharala. Welcome to Hayasharala Kanas, which stands for the Congregation of Israel. Every Sabbath is regularly scheduled by the Most High. All flesh should come and worship before the Most High. And this explains why from one Sabbath to another Sabbath, we all come to worship, and we are here today. As we read in Exodus, the 20th chapter, that we should keep the Sabbath day. So that's why we're here today, as we usually be here every other Sabbath. My name is Kahan Pokwad. I am presiding over the service. Get your pen, notebook, Bible, dictionary, so you can take note and enhance your understanding and knowledge of the kingdom of God. Why are we here? Why are we in the class? We in the Sabbath day service this morning?
More about God.
To learn more about God. All right?
Keep His commandments.
To keep His commandments.
Better.
And concepts of the scriptures and concepts of why we're here and why we read the Bible, as I always expound on, is very important. If we get the concept, our interpretation of the scriptures will be correct. But if the concept is wrong from the get-go, we may commit errors in our interpretation of what we read. The purpose for us being here is to learn about the kingdom of God. The concept of the Bible is about a king and his kingdom. Right? The concepts of the Bible is about a king and his kingdom. So we're here to learn about the kingdom. Why we? Why us? Why the Israelite?
We are the chosen ones.
We are the chosen one. We are heirs of the kingdom. We are the first fruit among all the nations. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. Y'all can you can read that for us, Bible question. Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6.
Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
We are a holy people unto the Lord thy God. And the Most High have chosen us above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Let's go to the second chapter of Matthew. You know how when you're using a new Bible, the page kind of like crisp.
Like using a clean Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Clean Bible. Matthew chapter 2.
Mm-hmm. And verse 6.
6.
Go on.
Matthew chapter 2, verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
Possessive pronoun, my people Israel. So that's what we read in Deuteronomy 7 and 6. When he says that he chose the Most High, the Most High chose the children of Israel above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So that was Matthew 2 in verse 6. And we read Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6 and Matthew 2 in verse 6. All right, so those are the two main scriptures you can use. Deuteronomy 7 and 6 and Matthew 2 and 6. All right, so now in the chapters we're going to read today is in the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Chapter 1 and chapter 2. And also, let's go to Isaiah 34:16. And you can read that once you have it. Zakar can read that.
Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of
Loud, Baba Kushan. Loud.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate.
So that's why when we come to learn, we have a Bible in our hand in the congregation. In essence, the Bible is Israel's constitution. Just like Congress has the Constitution of the United States, Israel, the nation of Israel, has the Holy Bible. The Holy Bible is Israel's constitution. So Isaiah 34:16 says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. Meaning there should be any other book other than the Bible in the congregation of Israel. Because this is our constitution as a nation. This is our constitution as a nation. That's what we should go by. Okay? And this is a book that teaches us about the kingdom. And we cannot say this enough. This is not a religious book. This is a constitution. This is a law book. All right, so now we're going to get into the topic of today, which is chapter 1 and chapter 2 in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus. And it begins saying in chapter 1, Ecclesiasticus, all wisdom cometh from the Lord, and is with him forever. All wisdom cometh from the Lord, and is with him forever. One might say this is easy to see and easy reading right there, the first verse. All wisdom. So let's dissect that, even that we see it very, very, very easy to read. Let's dissect this verse right here. All wisdom cometh from the Lord, and is with him forever. It means the Most High is the source of all wisdom. All that we are, all that we have, all that we know, the source is the Most High. I'll repeat it again. All that we are, all that we have, all that we know, it's all the Most High. Let's go to Proverbs 4 and verse 7. Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. And it reads, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. We know that all wisdom comes from the Most High, but what is wisdom? How does one acquire wisdom? Wisdom is a virtue, right? Wisdom is a virtue. It isn't something that is innate. It is something that can be acquired through experience. Wisdom is a virtue that can be acquired through experience. Anyone who is interested in trying new things can gain wisdom. When I say interested in gain wisdom, I'm talking about righteous, pure wisdom. We have people who have wisdom, but their wisdom are wicked wisdom. Examples. Some people may know how to break a bank based on experience, how to break locks, based on experience, how to break codes. This is, they acquire experience on that, right? So that's wisdom. But that's not righteous wisdom. Some people has experience on how to have 4, 5, 6, 7 women and keep it on a hush and manage to get away and not getting caught. Right? Because they do it in hiding. Even though the scripture says you can have more than one wife, but it has to be done in righteousness. But you have people out there who can have that, right? Have that kind of wisdom. Have that kind of wisdom, right? To do wickedly. Like, for example, the scripture describe people who are wise to do evil. That's wisdom. You can be wise, but in doing wickedly. But we're talking about righteous wisdom here. Let's go to Proverbs, the 2nd chapter. Proverbs chapter 2, and verse 6 to 8. And you can read that, Zakar, once you have it. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 6.
Proverbs chapter 2, verse 6. The Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding.
Right? The Most High giveth wisdom, and out of his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Right? So when one try new things, lawful things, reflect back on these things, on the process, then you can have the ability to gain wisdom. You reflect back, you analyze the things that you got involved in, and now you can put it into good practice. That's wisdom. That's how wisdom is acquired. So when we read the word, we apply it, we see how it works, we get result, we reflect back on it, we meditate on it, and we go back and teach it.
You said earlier about people are wise to do certain things, women, but do it deceitfully. That. This is Jeremiah 4:22.
Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 22.
Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. Right? So all wisdom comes from the Most High, righteous wisdom. You have others who use the carnal wisdom of man in order to gain or to prosper.
Right.
But that's leading to do evil.
Right.
To do good things, righteous things, brotherly kindness, right? Ceremonial, they have no knowledge, right? So to do that appears to them to be evil, almost like what you read in Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter,
right,
on how it gives you, the perspective of someone who's righteous and how they view someone who's wicked and how they view someone who's righteous.
Right. The water. So that was Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 22. So you were reading in Proverbs, right? You read verse 6. Read verse 7 and verse 8.
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding.
God. So wisdom, if wisdom is the principal thing, then we have to get wisdom. But how do one get wisdom? Through experience. Right? And with the wisdom also comes understanding.
Verse 8, exalt her and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her.
Right. Exalt her and she shall promote thee. So once you gain experience, you put it into practice, then the word's gonna go around that this person is specialized in this or specialized in that. Then you get promoted. You get promoted. How you get promoted, people go and talk about you as somebody who specializes in this or have experience in that and know how to work this thing. If you're a good mechanic, you have experience. You gain wisdom on how to operate cars, right? What's gonna go around? He's a good mechanic. You will be promoted in your neighborhood or wherever, or through friends or people that you work for. Then they're gonna promote you, right? They're gonna promote you and bring you more people or more clients, right? In the case of in rulership, in government, Joseph had a gift. His gift was promoted to the king. So he went and tell the king what the dream was about. Right? That was righteous wisdom. But that comes with experience. Right? The Most High gives wisdom, and with all that wisdom, get understanding. So now let's go on back to Ecclesiasticus Chapter 1 and verse 2 now. Who can number the sand of the sea? and the drop of rain in the days of eternity. So who can number the sand of the sea? The Most High has control. He created the sand of the sea, so he knows every grain of sand that's in the sea. It seems almost it is impossible for man to enumerate the number of sand that is on the seashore, right? But the Most High has control of all of that because he knows how he creates them. He's the manufacturer of the sand of the sea. He is the manufacturer of the drop of rain, right? He's the, the days of eternity. When we look at eternity, how many days is eternity? Eternity has, to us, it has no days, right? But to the Most High, he knows where eternity ends. But eternity means forever, forever and ever. The Most High knows what forever is because he's the creator of eternity, right? Where we don't have the knowledge of what, when eternity start and finish, but the Most High, the creator of eternity, knows about eternity because he's the manufacturer. So the manufacturer knows its product better than anybody, right? So in essence, we are a creation of the Most High. He created us, so he's the manufacturer of us, right? The manufacturer of all creation. So let's go to Isaiah 40, verse 12. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 12. I'll read this one. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 12 reads, "Who have measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with a spin, and comprehended the dust of the earth, and measured and weighed the mountains in scales, in the hills in a balance." So when a manufacturer starts out and doing something, he has to measure everything and know what he's putting in every product, every inch that he put in each product. And the Most High create the mountains, he creates the air, he creates the sands of the sea, he creates the waters. So he knows where one starts, where the other begins. Right? You know where it begins and where it ends. Whereas it's impossible for us to know the measure, right? The meter, how many meters or how many square footage, right? That the sea, or how many kilometers, how many miles, right? This stream run from here to there. The Most High knows every drop of water that's in that stream, in that river. For example, if you take a car, a Nissan and Toyota, they the same year. If you put a part of Nissan and a Honda, it won't work, right? Even though it may look similar. Why? Because there's a specific measure in that product. So it has to go according to that specific measure. So the Most High measure every little thing that he creates. Every little thing that he creates. So that's why when we read here in Isaiah, it said, who knows these things? So the Most High is all experience, because we know wisdom acquired through time and experience. So the Most High is all experience in everything. Every creation, the Most High is experience in everything. You know how somebody may specialize in creating books and making computers and making softwares. The Most High specializes in everything because he's the creator of all the elements that these things are made of. I'll read on all the way through verse 40, 12 to 18. I'll read it fast. Verse 13. Who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor, have taught him? With whom took the counsel, and who instructed him and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the islands as a very little thing. In Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing in vanity. Verse 18. To whom then will ye liken the Most High? Or what likeness will ye compare unto him? How do you compare the Most High? How do you match the Most High? With what? With who? How do you compare the Most High? You can't. Right? It says, to whom then will ye liken the Most High? Or what likeness will ye compare unto him? Can you? Verse 3. Back to Ecclesiasticus. Who can find out the height of heaven, and the breadth of the earth, and the deep in wisdom? Wisdom has been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting. When you read that, it makes sense that wisdom is created before all things, because everything has wisdom in it. So wisdom has to be created first for anything to exist. In essence, Christ is wisdom. Kahan Samak.
Right. To give you an example of wisdom and how much wisdom has been given to Israel, right? All wisdom comes from the Most High. And the wisdom that we have, that He provided to us to understand the mysteries, to understand who we are, to understand the nations, to understand the truth about history and the things that come. That's still only a small portion of the Most High's wisdom. And the Most High gave you a taste of it when you read it in Ezra. This is 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter.
2nd Ezra is the 4th chapter.
And the 5th verse. 17. This is 2nd Ezra 4 and 5. It says, and I said, tell on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past. Then answered I and said, what man is able to do that thou shouldest ask such things of me? And he said unto me, if I should ask thee of how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginnings of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoings of paradise, peradventure thou wouldst say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, now have I asked thee, but only of the fire and wind, and of the day whereof the day wherethrough thou hast passed, and of things from which thou canst not be separated, and yet canst thou give me no answer of them. So when you go into just Yahweh throughout 5 things, just give me that. It's like, wow, who can do that? Most High can, right? And these are things that you deal with every day. You deal with this. You out in the sea. You fly the planes. You deal with fire, right? You deal with the springs and things. Like, you can't even give me that answer, but you question me on my level as far as for my wisdom and my intentions. So it's the same thing. You always got to remember, going back to that first verse, all wisdom comes from the Most High. Man can't think himself to be greater or above the Most High, right? Man, Esau specifically wants to be there. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to be on a pedestal of the Most High, knowing all things. But what he does is he'll deceive with his wisdom, and he'll slander with his wisdom. That's why he is the devil and Satan together, right? He deceives and he slanders. He deceived everybody into thinking that he is God, he is the people of God, so forth and so on, that the people of God or the slaves is devils, the evil ones, and all nations are just heathens. Then he slandered us and called us all these bywords and proverbs, right? And then he does the same thing for everyone else.
Right.
But the wisdom of the Most High has given us true, clear picture and view of some of the things that we had before. Pay attention, I said some of the things, not all of them.
Right.
Because we don't have all wisdom into everything that we are a part of.
Right.
Right? The Most High gives certain things in measure to us.
Right. Good. Water. So that was 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 5. You read
9.
5 to 9, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 5 to 9. So let's go back to Ecclesiasticus chapter 1. Now we're going to read verse 4. Wisdom has been created before all things, right? In verse 5, it says, the word of God, Most High, is the fountain of wisdom, right? The fountain of wisdom. And her ways are everlasting commandments. Her ways are everlasting commandments. So the Most High is the fountain of wisdom, and it is the lasting commandments. Right? Her ways are lasting commandments. To whom have the root of wisdom been revealed? Right? To whom has wisdom been revealed? That's the question. Verse 7. Unto whom have the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest? And who have understood her great experience? Let's go right there, right? So who have understood a great experience? There is one wise and greatly to be feared, the Lord sitting upon the throne. So this goes back to the scripture when Yahushua says, why callest thou me good? There is only one that is good. That is the Most High. When you have all wisdom, you're good. You don't have any dependent on anybody or anything. You are self-dependent. Right? Even when we call ourselves independent, right, as a nation, or when a country become independent, you actually not dependent, because no one is dependent. Everyone depends on the wisdom of the Most High. No one is independent. That notion of independent is utopian when it comes to the Most High. And if we understand that we are supposed to be dependent for everything on the Most High as the children of Israel, then that's the beginning of wisdom. We start to fear the Most High, that's the beginning of wisdom.
Right. Go with verses 6 and 7. To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed? Unto whom hath the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest? So this is Isaiah 28 and 9.
That's Isaiah 28 and verse 9. Somebody's going to read.
So Isaiah 28 and 9, it says, whom shall he teach knowledge? Whom is of the people of Israel, that he is the Most High God? Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? So like the question was raised, to whom has the root of wisdom been revealed? Who's going to be able to see this? It says, them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. That's the people of the nation of Israel, the type spirit, the type mind that you now are going to be susceptible to be able to receive this knowledge, this doctrine, this wisdom. You have to now revert yourself as if you are spiritually a baby coming back to learn of the Most High. If you do not have that characteristic, then you will not be able to be given the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High.
Go on.
I'm going to read another one. This is 1 Corinthians. So once you have that, once you portray those characteristics, then you will be able to receive wisdom, right? Then it says in 1 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter, and the 6th verse.
1 Corinthians?
1 Corinthians 2 and 6. Actually, I'm going to start from 4. 1 Corinthians 2 and 4. It says, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. So Paul was telling the brothers that, listen, my speech and what I'm preaching to you didn't come from man. It didn't come from the institutions of men. I didn't have to go to a college and follow some curriculum to get this wisdom, because it came from God. It came from the power of God and not through man's wisdom. And this is what your faith should stand on, not with men. Verse 6, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world, that come to naught. So we don't grab or pull it from what comes out of these other textbooks or what comes from these professors at these institutions, right? That's not where it comes from, of the princes of this world. That's what it's going into. Verse 7, but we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the world unto our glory. So now the wisdom that we speak is hidden. Everybody don't see this. Everybody don't get this. Only those who are weaned from the milk, drawn from the breast, right, who have the fear of the Most High, they receive this wisdom. So when we speak, guess what? We speak it in a mystery.
Right.
We speak it in something that's foreign that most people don't get. Right. We know this. Paul knew this. So as he was preaching, guess what? The words was only going to be received by those who was the elect or the perfect. Everybody else, you can hear the words. You can hear the breakdowns. Guess what? Still ain't going to see it because you closed off. Right? The Most High has allowed Satan to close your minds and deceive you and close off your wisdom, your ears, spiritual ears, to seeing something different.
Go on. You're working on it.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17. it says, "For he," which is, the Most High, had given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, midst of the times, alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons." So the Most High gave King Solomon certain knowledge of things. And you can read even further down.
Okay, so that was Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse 17. Still stem from verse 6 in Ecclesiasticus chapter 1.
Would you just read 1 Corinthians
2 verses
4 to 1?
Let's stop at 7.
We have verse 6 now.
Come on, you're gonna read verse 7. Verse 7, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 7. Unto whom have the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who have understood her great experience. There's one wise and greatly to be feared, the Lord sitting upon his throne. He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works. But now, notice that wisdom is referred to as her. That's always been a topic of discussion. So is wisdom feminine? When we read this, you have an answer for that?
Yeah, something like your mom. She give you good knowledge. What you do, what not to do.
So in terms of wisdom, you think wisdom is feminine?
Let's say her. I be want to know why I say her sometimes.
It's very interesting, right? Because when you read this, it's very technical, right? In the sense of how wisdom is being described here. So we have to understand language, right? We have to understand genre and grammatical, how in different languages things are translated, right? So now, let's take a look at Genesis. Let's go to Genesis, the 4th chapter and the 10th verse. We have to understand figures of speech, genre, and grammatics, grammar. And we have to understand the concept, the intent of what is being said and what is being described. So if we understand the intent, we understand if we understand the concept of what is being said and the content, then we will understand what the Most High is conveying in the message. So again, we're gonna read. We're gonna take an example in Genesis chapter 4, verse 10. And he said, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground." So now, based on your experience, when was the last time you see blood speak? This is pretty much describing the atrocity, right, in the evil that he has done, the extent of the evil that he has done. But the blood is not really speaking, right? I'll read it again. It says, and he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. So this is one example of figurative speech. You cannot take it literal, right? If you take it literal, people go and establish religion around blood, saying, you know, blood is a big thing, meaning blood can talk. But we know blood doesn't talk. This is a figure speech, right? So also when it says, let's go to First Corinthians. The 13th chapter. So right now, when you read in 1 Corinthians, for example, an expression of love, right? It says, though I speak with, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1, though I speak with the tongue of men, and of angels, and have not charity, I became as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mystery and all knowledge, and thought I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. Right? So you can express all these qualities of love, right? And you have all wisdom, right? But if you don't have charity, which is another quality, it's like you have nothing, right? So you have to understand quality, genre, and grammar. For example, when you refer to a car, you refer to a car as a he or as a she, right? Is a car a he or a she? It depends on who's speaking, right? The experience of the individual with that instrument. For example, you refer to a ship, right? As a she, right? As you refer to a ship as a she, but yet some people call it a name of a masculine name. So when you look at how wisdom being described here, being that when Solomon with his own experience, right, he will be speaking in terms of experience to convey the message to have a more powerful influence. I'm gonna give another example. If you pull up to a car station, there's three grades of gas that you can put in your vehicle, right? You have 87, 89, 93, right? So now, if you put 87, your car will still run, but it may not have the same power, right? You may not have enough the same gas for your mileage. But if you put 93, it's more powerful, right? It's more powerful. You know, you put 85, you put 87, you put 89, it's gonna run. But the power that you're gonna get behind it as your car perform is gonna be less. It's the same way things speaking in Hebrew, right? Have more force, has more power when you convert it in the original tongue, right? So when Solomon is describing wisdom, he referred to wisdom as her, right? So men shouldn't get insulted and women shouldn't get puffed up because he referred to wisdom as being her. You understand? It's the same when the Most High says, Israel, I am married unto you. Jacob was a man, right? If we see it literally, then we're not gonna get the message. I am married unto you, meaning I am making contract. I'm dealing with you, right? I'm dealing with you as a nation. So I have a contract with you as a nation, right? But it's not marriage in the terms of relationship between man and a woman, right? So when he says I'm married unto you, or Israel, right? And we know Israel consists of men and women, right? But the message, the intent of what is being communicated, right? That's the main point behind it, right? So when you see wisdom here being referred as her, right? Wisdom is a quality. It's an intangible quality, right? It's an intangible quality. But as you describe it, as you see it based on the verses, and I have a few other verses that we want to pull after Hans Samar.
This is Ecclesiasticus Chapter 51. Ecclesiasticus Chapter 51, verse 13.
51, verse 13, right?
Right. So Ecclesiasticus chapter 51, verse 13, it says, when I was yet young, or ever I went abroad, I desired wisdom openly in my prayer. I pray for her before the temple and will seek her out even unto the end. Even from the flower to the grape was ripe, hath my heart delighted in her. My foot went the right way from my youth up, sought I after her. I bowed down my ear a little and received her, and gat much learning. I profited therein. Therefore will I ascribe the glory unto him that giveth me wisdom. Right? So he's conveying a message that when in his early beginnings, wherever he went, he desired to have wisdom. Right? And he got learning, meaning someone taught him certain things.
Right.
And then he ascribed to them. He started to apply them. Then when it became good for him, he realized and thanked the person that gave him wisdom, which is the Most High. Right? It says, verse 18, for I purpose to do after her, and earnestly I follow that which is good. So shall I not be confounded. Right? Like it tells you in Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. Right? So now, when you get wisdom, you will never be confounded if you apply it the right way. But again, it's conveying the message as if it's to her. Now check out what happens. It says, verse 19, my soul wrestled with her, and in my doings I was exact. I stretched forth my hands to the heaven above and bewailed my ignorances of her. So it says my soul wrestled with her. What does it mean to wrestle? Because we're talking about wisdom, right? So let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verse 17. This is going into how you now attain and how he's describing how he wrestled with wisdom, right? So it says in Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verse 17, for at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways and bring fear and dread upon him and torment him with her discipline until she may trust his soul and try him by her law.
What was the verse again?
Ecclesiasticus Chapter 4, verse 17.
Go on.
So now, that's what happens when you now start to walk with wisdom. You now get tormented, right? Certain experiences and things happen to you, and now you wrestling. You decided you're going back and forth on, how should I deal with this? Why are they coming at me like this? And then you got to be disciplined to stay the course, right? Reading on back in chapter 51, verse 20 now. I directed my soul unto her, and I found her in pureness. So after he went through all of that, he got the discipline, and now more wisdom is poured unto him, right? It says, I have had my heart joined with her from the beginning. Therefore shall I not be forsaken.
Right.
Then it says, my heart was troubled in seeking her. Therefore have I gotten a good possession. So now the Most High is allowing Solomon to bring out wisdom. And he said, listen, I got a good possession. So now we're looking at it in the feminine context, receiving this good possession. So in Ecclesiasticus 36, chapter 36, Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 and verse 24, the Most High says, he that getteth a wife getteth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. Right? So when you get a wife, it says that's when you can get a possession.
Right.
That's when you're going to find someone like yourself and then find a pillar of rest. Well, the Most High says that wisdom is where we can come and get the rest, that refreshing. Right. So that's why it's comparing it to a woman or a wife, because the attributes are the same thing that you would get when you would get a wife. Right. Remember, the Bible is written to men. Right. Not that it's eliminating women, but the way in which it's conveyed is written to men. Right. Proverbs 8:4, unto you, O men, I call. So the text or the context of how it's written, it caters to the perspective of how a man sees it. Right. A woman wouldn't go out there and say, yeah, I got wisdom like how I went and got a wife. No, that's not the proper context. Right. But a man would do that because the Most High is teaching this to men first according to the hierarchy, like in 1 Corinthians 11.
Right. Because at the same time, women got wisdom. So what would we say? Right? Because so now we have to understand the context and concept and the intent of the message being conveyed. In the word wisdom is feminine by grammar, but not comparing to boys and girls. Right? So now, in order for the message to get through us, earthly audience, to have the proper understanding, it is personified as her or she. All right? Go on, y'all can on.
The wisdom is a rest.
Yeah. Isaiah 28, I think it's 12.
Isaiah?
Yes.
28 and 12?
28 and 12. He asked about wisdom being the rest.
20 and 12.
28.
28 and 12.
To whom he said, this is the rest, wherewith he may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. Again, it's dealing with not a physical rest like you're going in the couch, but the knowledge, the wisdom that you receive, that's where your spirit and your soul is going to find rest.
What verse you just said?
He didn't read it. He called it.
He called it. What was it?
It was Isaiah 28 and 8. Is that what you referred to? Isaiah.
I said Isaiah 28:12.
28:12. Salakia, Isaiah 28:12. And which one you pull Yaukanan?
No.
Okay, come. All right, so let's go back to Ecclesiasticus. So Mark already covered a large piece of that wisdom being referred to. So we'll just move on. I guess that we get the idea. You understand now? You understand now, right?
I'm getting to it. about her wisdom and God, like,
Right. That her is being referred to in a grammatical form, right? Not in comparison between boys and girls.
okay, we at verse 9.
So now we're in verse 9.
He created her.
Right, and in verse 9, it reads, He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works. She is with all flesh according to his gifts. So she is with all flesh according to his gifts. And he has given her to them that love him. The fear of the Lord is honored in glory and gladness. So let's go to, for verse 10, right? For verse 10, let's go to Isaiah 28 and 26. I'm sorry, Isaiah 6 and 5. Isaiah 6 and 5. And then we're going to read Isaiah 28 and 26. Yeah, you can read that once you have it, Babu Kushan. Isaiah 6 and 5. And then we're going to go to Isaiah 28 and 26. You can read both. Yeah, Isaiah 6 and verse 5.
Isaiah 6 and 5. Then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts.
Right, his eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. He understands his position, and he understands the importance of teaching the word of God, right? And the lip service that you do, right, it goes a long way, right? And he sees the King, right? He sees the King. And now let's read verse 28 and 26. Because if you study the word of Jeremiah, right, you're gonna find out Jeremiah and with the other prophet, his teaching not only speak of what's happening, right, the wickedness that is being done amongst Jerusalem or round about where they live. Also, he foretell the future in greater details than the other prophets, even the future, right? So in the vision, read Isaiah 28 and 26. Verse 26.
Isaiah 28, verse 26. For his God doth instruct him to discernment and doth teach him.
All right. So the Mosai is the one that, read it again.
For his God doth instruct him to discernment and doth teach him.
Right. So the discernment is the spirit that the Mosai put in him, right, to see what's to come, right? All that comes from the Mosai. And who teach? The Mosai, right? So also, let's go to Isaiah 48 and 17. You could read that also, Isaiah 48 and verse 17.
Isaiah chapter 48, verse 17. Thus said the Lord, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, I am the Lord thy God, which teacheth thee to profit, which leadeth thee by the way that thou shouldest go.
Right. So the Most High, he's the one teaching, he's the one guiding our steps, right? He's the one letting us know where we should go. So everything is by the Most High's wisdom. So now, when we depart from the Most High, we lose all of that. So our quest today, while we here, is trying to get back what we've lost. What did we lose? We lost power. That's pretty much what we lost. We lost power. We lost power, right? What power we lost? The spirit. We lost spiritual power. Right? When Adam fell, what did he lose? He lost power, dominion. The same way we have food, right, for the belly, and I'll read that in a second. The same way we cannot live peacefully and prosperously without the Most High. Let's get that real fast before we move on. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6 and 13. Without the wisdom of the Most High, without the spirit of the Most High, we're useless. We disconnected. In essence, and when we lose power, we lose communication, we lose the spirit, because the spirit connects us with the Most High. So once we lose the spirit, we don't have any communication. And we try to figure out how to get back power. In the process, some of us end up in Catholicism, Baptist Church, right? Jehovah's Witness, Buddhism, Islam, all to get back what we've lost, which is the spirit of the Most High we lost. And through it, we lost all our power as a nation. Give me 1 second. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 13 to make the comparison of how food and are dependent on the Most High. It's the same way. The way we depend on food to live, it's the same way we, as children of Israel, must depend on the Most High to prosper. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 13. I'll read that. We cannot function properly without the Most High. There's no way it can happen. That's why we out there, we lost, right? We lost trying to figure our way out, our way in back to the Most High. But with it, we try all kinds of things. Chapter 6, verse 13, and it reads, meat for the belly, and the belly for meats. Right? And then it says, but God shall destroy both it and them. Right? Now, let's read. I'm sorry, let me finish that up. It says, it and them. Now, the body is not for fornication, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. So it's no wonder why the Most High said the body is the temple of the Most High. Right? Because the body is the Most High's. The belly is for meat for the belly, and us for the Most High, right? And us and Most High for us. So we cannot live, just like we cannot live without food, we cannot live without the Most High. Whenever we depart from the Most High, we just as good as dead walking. Dead men or dead women walking. That's pretty much our condition. Let me read verse 19. And it says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not of your own. So the body is the temple of the Most High. So that's the spirit that we lost. Since we lost that spirit, we lost everything. We lost all power. We lost all our rulership. We don't even know how to do anything because we're not functioning according to the intent of how the manufacturer created us. We are a product of the Most High's Incorporated. right? It's like we are a product of Most High incorporated. Yahweh is incorporated. He created that product. So once that product is not operating according to the Most High, we destroy it.
Yeah, just like Exodus chapter 13, 21 and 22.
Exodus chapter 13, right?
Yeah.
13. What verse?
21 and 22.
21, 22. And I read 1 Corinthians 13, jump to 19. 1 Corinthians 6, 13, and then jump to 19.
Yeah, Exodus chapter 13, verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. So without the Most High guiding us, if we didn't have this, we would know where to go.
Exactly.
So, and if we depart from this, we would be lost.
Right. And keep in mind also, the Most High took the long way, right, as opposed to the short way, which when they calculated is about 30 to 35 days walk, right? But the Most High didn't take us to the way of the Philistine, because if we find opposition or the army, we might just go and turn back, right? So the Most High took us the long way. It took us 40 years, right, to get our mind refreshed, right? Renewing our mind. Still, we didn't make it to the promised land. It took us 40 years. Still, we didn't make it, right? So this is the hardest job that Yahushua, and the hardest challenge that Yahushua had, is to recondition Israel's mind. That's the hardest job ever on the planet, to convert Israel to get back on track with the Most High. Right? So the focus is on our mind, to make sure that we know our mind. That's why the Most High said in Romans 13 and 2, right? By knowing of our mind. Get that. Because with all that get understanding, right? It's good we get knowledge, we get wisdom, but get understanding. Because we may sit here for years on and years out, for many years, we're getting that good teaching, that good information, but if our habits remains the same, we're just getting information. We're just accumulating information upon information. The information is supposed to make ways for the Spirit to convert us. Conversion. That's what brings changes. Listening to information every day, every Sabbath, in and out, it's just information. Right? Information is not transformation. Information just informs. Conversion comes when the body is ready, the Spirit steps in, and then we be converted. Right? The Most High said, unless they hear with their ear, and then they hear with their mouth, they hear and then they be converted. Conversion is what's important. So what scripture I'm looking for? In Romans. Let me make sure that's what it is. No, that's not it. Go to Romans. I'm looking for I lost my train of thought. Yes. Lost the train of thought.
Romans 15:4.
What did it say?
Things great and 4 times as far learned.
No. All right, so let's move on. It'll come back.
Okay, verse what? 14.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to Ecclesiasticus. And you had a scripture, right, Yochanan?
I don't know if I can read it. Isaiah 30 and 21.
Isaiah 30 and 21.
Yeah. So we don't know all that confusion. The Most High have the knowledge to give you, right? So in Isaiah 30, verse 21, it says, "And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left."
Fine.
Yeah, so this the knowledge of the true knowledge that what the Most I want to give us, you're gonna hear it. You know, when you turn to the right or left, the Most High is gonna say, you know, this is the way.
Fine. So now verse 11. The fear of the Lord is honored, and glory, in gladness, in crown, in rejoicing. The fear of the Lord is honored. Right? And it says in glory, in gladness, in crown of rejoicing. So when we have the fear of the Lord, we become honorable because we are acting according to the manufacturer's, right? We acting according to the manufacturer's intent for us. Think of the Most High as the manufacturer and we are the product. Right? We function in according to manufacturer's intent. In glory is the fullness of who we are and how we're supposed to operate. Right? Full force, full weight. Right? It shows forth what we made of. In gladness, as we see that, what's that gonna bring? That's gonna bring glad. We're gonna be happy. Right? When we see people understand what we represent and who we are and how we operate, that brings joy. With that comes a crown. You become like a king, right? Because you're leading your function. You're leading your gift. And as a crown, kings put on crown. Why? Because kings symbolize ownership, authority. Right? So leading or owning your gifts the way the Most High intended make you rulers over what you were given. It says of rejoicing. Verse 12. The fear of the Lord maketh a merry heart. When you fear the Most High, your mind function better. You see things clearer than most people who are not following the Most High. You function with clarity of mind. Even in the midst of chaos, while everybody stressed out, trying to figure what's going on, you can make sense of it all. Right? So it makes you better in the midst of chaos and confusion. And giveth joy with that bring joy. Imagine people out there, some people commit suicide because they don't see what's going on. They lose their job because their job is their life. So when the job, it becomes your life, you lose your job, you lose your life. There's no sense of living anymore because it becomes your job.
I think they just had a celebrity singer she tried to commit or attempted suicide yesterday and the day before. I saw on social media, Tamar Braxton.
Yeah.
What's her name, sister? She's a singer. She actually talk shows and everything else, but she committed suicide because she felt that, she don't own herself. They own her.
Right.
Right? The industry or whatever, she's a slave to the industry. So what purpose is it for?
Right.
Death is the only way out.
Right.
So I'm gonna go and kill myself.
Right. So it's a sense of we powerless. We lost power. Somebody else owns you. Right? Because everything that we all looking for, we all sit here, we want power. I mean, why do people seek money? It's not really money people after.
Wow.
It's people after what money can buy. Right? And money is the thing that you have that can buy the thing that you want. Right? If you want to live in a neighborhood or you want to live in a better house, you take the money, you buy the house. It's not about the money. It's about what the money can buy. Right? So in essence, we seek power through things that we think the things will bring us power. So when they get the money, some of them get money and they find out they still cannot, take him there. They think it was about money, but they figure out later, man, it's not about money. So what the hell am I looking for? We're seeking for that power, that spirit that we lost, that we had. And nobody can give it to you but the Most High. Right? When you think it's the money, you chase that money here, you got the money then. You're like, man, I got all the money now, but I can't get this, but I'm still not happy. You're still not fulfilled. We will not be fulfilled until we are restored to that power that we once had from the beginning. That dominion. Right? So let's go back to Ecclesiasticus. Verse 13. Whoso feareth the Lord, right? See, I mean, when the fear, right, we give it joy, we gladness. So now you can feel better. Somebody has million, but you got the wisdom of the Most High that show you how to live. You feel like you have some kind of control, even without the money. You feel like at least you have a hang, right? You have control of this problem and things that people going crazy over without having the money, without having the resources. Just having that alone, that little bit of wisdom, right, make you feel better than most that has a lot of wisdom. I mean, that has a lot of money, that has a lot of resources. And that's power, right? But when you face problems and you have no control over, you're like, what's going on, right? You'll pay money to have control over the situation that you have. So in essence, it's not about the money. It's about having control, having power, right, to know what's going on, right? Verse 13, whoso feareth the Lord, it shall go well with him at the last. Right? Is it at the last? Not at the beginning, at the last. And he shall find favor in the day of his death. And we're going to read that, why it says at the last. Because things don't come easy. Right? We have to be ready to go to the test. Right? We have to be found worthy, right, to prosper in this wisdom. Verse 14. Con.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Add on before you go on.
Con, you got it.
Fear of the Lord. I just wanted to bring out a couple of scriptures. Just so, to capture what the fear of the Lord is too. To add on to what you were saying.
Con.
In Proverbs 1:7, you could jot them down so I don't take up too much time. I just want to bring them up real quick.
All right.
And when fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So the beginning of the Most High's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that's what the fear of the Lord is. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. So when we're trying to teach people the truth and they despise it, the Most High says you're a fool and you don't have the fear of the Lord.
Fun.
And in Proverbs, the same chapter, 29th verse, it says, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. So 29 is clearly showing that when you despise wisdom and instruction, you're not choosing the fear of the Lord. And Proverbs 8:13, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. So to hate evil, that means you're practicing good. And how do you define what's good? Keeping the Lord's statutes and commandments in the Bible in the high holy days. To hate pride, arrogancy, and the evil way. So pride, being proud and puffed up, can't listen, and you want to just dictate. I mean, from Esau's perspective, Donald Trump is like the king of pride. And the Most High said, I'm against thee, the most proud. Arrogancy, the evil way, anything that is anti-Christ, anti-law, anti-high holy day. And the froward mouth do I hate. So I'm going to read this last one. In Proverbs 9 and 10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Because this is how you know, you don't even have to tell anybody that you have the fear of the Lord. If you're operating in the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, keeping the holy days, and example teaching, you're demonstrating by your actions that you have the fear of the Lord. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. And the holy are the Israelites, not of who you are, but we are a holy people unto the Most High. When you read Deuteronomy 7 and 6. But the knowledge of who we are is understanding. And once you understand who you are, then you read about who the creator of heaven and earth said our people must live on the planet earth. And that's why we have to desire wisdom, because that's how we know if we're doing the right thing and we truly have the fear of the Lord, which is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So I just wanted to touch on the fear of the Lord before you moved on from there.
Tuada for those scriptures. Once again, those scriptures are Proverbs 1 and 7, jump to verse 29, Proverbs 8 and 13, Proverbs 9 and 10. All right, so
What's the first one, 27?
Proverbs 1 and verse 7.
1 and 7. 29.
29, and then Proverbs 8 and 13, and Proverbs 9 and 10. Right, Deuteronomy 7 and 6. This was we pulled that. That was the first scripture we pulled up.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So let's move on. We at verse 15 now. Actually 13. I'll read it fast. It says, "Whoso feareth the Lord, it shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favor in the day of his death." So in the day of death, you will die peacefully. And you will have less regrets as most people, because applying wisdom alleviate heart, your heart being heavy. All right,
You say you're going to die peacefully.
Meaning, when I say peacefully, mean you're gonna die, but you're gonna be blessed. You're gonna be blessed when you die. That's pretty much what it meant. All right, so verse 14. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. Verse 15. She has built an everlasting foundation with men. Which one? At 14?
Yeah.
All right, come.
The Lord is beginning wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. You Luke chapter 1, verse 15.
Chapter 1, verse 15.
Luke chapter 1, verse 15. Right, Luke 1 and 15 says, "For he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Holy Ghost, even from his mother's womb."
Right.
Right. So it started in the womb of what John or Elijah was going to do.
Right.
That spirit started from there.
Right. And also, you can read. You can write that down. You can read in Corinthians, the first chapter. 1 Corinthians, the first chapter, verse 18, right? All the way to the second chapter, verse 16. So this will give you a breakdown of Yahushua, right? How he also is wisdom. He has wisdom with him. He has all the wisdom that the Most High put in him to glorify the Most High. So 1 Corinthians chapter 1, 18, all the way to second chapter in Corinthians 2, 16. Your spare time, you can read that. Verse 16. To fear the Lord is fullness of wisdom. Right? To fear the Lord is fullness of wisdom. And it says, and filleth men with her fruits. It filleth men with her fruits. And what fruit we talking about? Fruit of the Spirit. Verse 17. She filleth all their house with things desirable, and the garners with her increase. Desirable goods. Right? Verse 18. The fear of the Lord is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish. Right? Have you ever heard the prophets of the Most High? They teach day and night, just like Yahushua. Teach day and night, barely yet sleep. you would say they would have some kind of health deprivation, right? But with wisdom, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, they were protected, even health-wise. This is the power of wisdom. It's like you function and you're just moving. Yes.
No, go ahead, continue your thought.
Right, it's like you moving, it's the spirit that's moving in you. Like the flesh profiteth nothing, the spirit you moving, you flowing. Right? You don't have time for sickness and discomfort. You moving because your mind is in a different level. Is it Kamala?
Yeah, I just want to, as it's building up, as it says in the 15th verse, build an everlasting foundation with men and continue with your children, is because if we had this knowledge growing up, which we didn't, and we teach our seed and our children, that foundation that they were built on, building on the foundation of Yahweh, Christ, would have taught them how to manipulate this society, even though we're in captivity. Would have taught us how to move and make things happen. And that's why when it goes into filleth men with her fruit, because we'll teach you how to sustain yourself in a society, how to grow, even though we're in captivity, but in righteousness. Mm-hmm. And it filleth their house with desirable things, desirable. So you get certain things that you desire in this life because you're doing everything through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. Like you're not starting the gay chat lines because you know everybody's going to call in to make millions of dollars.
Right.
But it'll give you the wisdom how you can make money, and maybe not millions of dollars because it may not be necessary, and the Most High knows what we need, to be able to sustain yourself to get the things desirable and garners with their increase. And that's why it's like perfect, the health to flourish, will have wisdom, know which herbs, brothers posting different herbs they use to keep their body healthy. We had these gifts that we were doing ourselves and sharing with our seed, everybody would flourish.
It's like when we have wisdom even in this life, right? The skill that we have is enhanced. Because at that point now, we operated under the Most High's manual. So we become more fruitful. If you're an engineer, you're a janitor, you're a sweeper, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, whatever skill set. Now you're operating because now you're exemplifying the Most High's glory. So whatever you do, you have understanding of what you're doing. You're doing it at your best, like Hans bringing out. So it becomes not about the money, like we're saying. It's about controlling and understand what you're into. Like the money itself buy things, and we desire the money because what it can buy, it gives us control. If we want to buy this car, we have the money, we just go ahead and buy it without any restriction. That's pretty much what the money is all about. But if you have control over your sickness, you can move around, right? You have control of the situation that's going in the street. You'll feel at peace moving around, right? That give us some kind of control. And that's pretty much what wisdom does, right? To the children of Israel once we have it. They give us back the dominion on everything round about us.
Ecclesiasticus 7:12. Relate to what you said. What has been said.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it."
Right. So now you can see people that may have a lot of resources and things to move around, right? They may seem they have their head in their shoulder, but they are being controlled by that little piece of paper that's in their pocket. That's not control, right? That's dominion. You're being dominated by that little paper. So any little deals that comes in, you so jittery to get in because of that paper. And why? Because that paper give some sort of freedom. That's why they said financial freedom, right? You want to get in this right here? This is give you financial freedom because they know most people are in bondage to that piece of paper. Because if you want to eat, you need that piece of paper, right? If you want to move around to buy a house, you need that piece of paper. If you want to rent to put a roof over your head, you need that piece of paper. In essence, become slaves, right, to that piece of paper. But the excellency, wisdom will give you how to manage and get that piece of paper and get control of it, as opposed to that piece of paper get control of you. Right?
Yeah, like
I mean, sorry, piece of paper, resources, because that's what we use now. But anything, right, in the grand scheme of things, that's what we use. That paper.
with the knowledge of the Most High now, and concerning money, to lose, to have money losing millions of dollars in financial problems and things like that seem as if that's it for you,
Right.
And, you don't want to lose millions of dollars, to apologize and to submit and, possibly people try to kill themselves because of financial problems and so on and so forth. Just take them in a lot of places and certain neighborhoods, some people don't even have much.
Right.
Some people don't even live anywhere too much,
Right.
So
this is what's happening with what we are witnessing with Nick Cannon, right? They give him that deal, and he tie into that deal. A lot of financial stuff tie into that deal. The lifestyle tie into that deal, right? The way you live tie into that deal, right? So you're bound to not saying certain things. You got to watch your mouth and what you say, or you're going to lose most of your privileges. Mm-hmm. But if you have the knowledge and wisdom of the Most High, you have fear of the Most High, then you can say whatever righteous possible you can say, and you don't have to fear any man. Right. But when you don't have that, it becomes easier said than done that he can just, say something and not, but there's a lot tied up to this. Right? Their lifestyle tied up to it. Their entitlement is tied up to it. So everything, their being is being, wrapped up around this whole system. Yeah. But with wisdom, you can still be in that realm, but you're not tied up to it. You're not owned by them. But that comes with wisdom of the Most High. The only way you can get it. Otherwise, it's all tied up to, what the system, tell you to do. Even he may not want to apologize. But when he look at what he has and what tie up to it, and being that he doesn't have the fullness and understanding of the fear of the Lord, he flinked. Right? You might say one thing and then you renege on what you're saying when you analyze and put things in a balance and what you have to lose. And you're gonna have people who are gonna tell you, see, look, you have this, you have that. Look where you at, man. You better than most. You in the limelight. You already there. You there. You're gonna lose all of that just for a statement that you made. Just apologize, man. Just apologize. Just a simple apology will fix everything. They put in the balance everything that you got to lose. If your image attached to it, and who you are attached to it, and who you are is not attached to the Most High, right? In knowledge and wisdom and understanding, who you are is what you have, right? All you are is what you see in front of you that you have your possession. And if you lose that, you feel like your whole life is done. The whole life is over, and you gotta still go back. Probably psychiatrists think you're gonna go back to nothingness, but it's really a mind control. Back to Ecclesiasticus. Verse 17. It says, she filleth all their house with things desirable and garners with her increase. Verse 18. The fear of the Lord is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gift of God, and it enlargeth their rejoicing that love him. Verse 19. Wisdom runneth down skill. Here you go right there. Wisdom runneth down skill and knowledge of understanding, and exalteth them that honor that hold her fast. Like I said, you could be a janitor, you could be an engineer, but the skill, the knowledge of how to get things done, right? When it comes from the Most High, you at ease with it. People, man, how you make this thing sound so, look so easy to do. But what happened is the skill that you have developed because of the wisdom of the Most High. Right? It could be anything, any skill you have, you perform it at your best because you have the knowledge of the Most High and the fear of the Most High. Verse 21. The fear of the Lord driveth away sins. How it does that? You keep the laws of the Most High.
You skip 20.
Skip 20. Okay. It says the root of wisdom is to fear the Lord, and the branches thereof are long life. See how I put it right there? The branches thereof are long life. The root of wisdom is to fear the Lord. Law, statute, and commandments. Abide by the laws of the kingdom. Abide by the law of the king. As a citizen of that kingdom, then you have no trouble. No trouble. Right? As citizens of Israel, we're supposed to abide by the rules and regulation of that kingdom, which is we are in the jurisdiction of that kingdom. So we're supposed to abide by the rules and regulation. That's pretty much what it is. Ceremonial law, right? Aside from the sacrificial law, all the other laws we gotta keep. We gotta keep to the best of our ability. This is observing the law. It's the same way. You break the laws of the land, you get in trouble. We break the laws of God as his children, we are in trouble. The fear of the Lord driveth away sin, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. Where it is present, it turneth away wrath. How does he do that? A simple, what's that scripture? That's a simple, not a simple answer. Turneth away wrath. Right. Proverbs 15 and 1. Proverbs 15 and 1. And you can see that when you see the cops comes, right? You call the cops. The first thing, yo, turn around. You talking to a man. What do you think is gonna happen? He's gonna get agitated because you don't talk to people like that, right? So a lot of times they escalate the situation. You're not gonna, be soft, but you don't talk to people like that. Especially you talking to a man who said he is resisting arrest. Now you don't talk to people like that. You call, right, to de-escalate, not to escalate the situation. So those people, they're not trained properly because they lack wisdom. But those are the people that's supposed to be protecting citizens. Right? The whole training is wrong. The whole way of addressing a situation and stepping up to a situation is wrong. You don't come into a man and it's trying to talk to him like it, or anybody, as a matter of fact. But that's the way they act. Right? It says, the fear of the Lord driveth away sin, and where it is present, it is turneth away wrath. Right? You might make somebody reconsider by the way you talk to them. But if you come to them in harsh way, you're gonna fire. They're gonna fight fire with fire. That's how they do it in the world, right? They fight fire with fire. They lack wisdom, and you came in as authority. You showing that you lack wisdom. We're supposed to know better. What do you think they're gonna do? They buck up. So that's the society that we live in. That's the way it operates. Because I see them, they show up at a place right next to my office. They came in, they knocked the door. You see how they knocked the door? Boom, boom, boom. You don't do that. They knocked the door so hard. Why do you even have to do that? Verse 22. A furious man cannot be justified, for the sway of his fury shall be his destruction. Right? Shall be his destruction. The furious man, meaning an unjust man, an angry man, cannot be justified. Because the anger tipped the scale, right? His anger tipped the scale to his ruin. Because when someone is angry, there's some kind of, you lack control because your wits is not there, the mind is not there. And you have people sometimes, right, they being enticed to, like, for example, you have people who would call, I'm going to call so-and-so, right? So-and-so comes, automatically, he's being put on high as if he's supposed to solve the situation. So now when he come in and pull out his gun, right? And escalate the situation. We see that happen from time to time because they call that person because they know that person is a person that pretty much not start trouble, but he engage in situation, right? And start and get into trouble. Verse 23. All right, we're gonna that's what we're gonna read now. It says, a patient man will bear for a time, and afterward joy shall spring up unto him. So pretty much what he's saying here, those who are patient, you stay calm in a situation. In your calmness, you gathering information, right? You watching, you analyzing, and you watching what's happening. You seeing the situation, right? So the patient man, that's what he's doing when he see a situation, especially when a situation erupt. You may not have all the information you need. So if you jump to conclusion, you might make a mistake, right? It says, so those who are patient, they stay calm until the right moment. Right, you stay calm until the right moment. You don't jump to conclusion. You don't take action until you gather in your information. Then you can take action in the right moment. Right, so then cheerfully they come back to the situation, and then they fix it. They so situation erupted, they sit back, watch getting information. You may not make it, you don't have to analyze anything. You just gathering information. Okay, this there, this here. How did this start? How did you even get there? Who started it? How? Right? Okay. Oh, okay. This could have been prevented. Now you start providing solution. All right, so now how do I fix it now? You come back cheerfully after you got all the information, you solve the problem. Somebody was like, man, this guy, man, I like how you handle this. But it's the wisdom of the Most High and patience and learning. But all that comes with the Most High got to give it to you. You didn't get it by yourself just like that. You see? That's why it becomes a tool now. Once you have it, you teach it. Because what you have, if it's good, is not for you. It's to pass on. So don't hog it and try to hold it for yourself because it's not your own. If something is fruitful, it belongs to somebody else. Right? If it's fruitful to you, it's fruitful to somebody else. That's why fruit is good for somebody else. Right? We eat fruit because it's good for us. And then that's why food is sold at every place, because it's good for. So if you have some good fruit, it's supposed to be shared around. Right? So you got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Con, verse 25. The parable of knowledge are in the treasure of wisdom. I skip again, right? 24. You will hide his words for a time. In the lips of many shall declare his wisdom. That's pretty much it. So they hold back until the right moment. Right. That's how they say it, right? You keep your cool. So now when it says in right here, it says, of many shall declare his good wisdom. So what we saying right here, when it's there, that was good. That was good right there. I like how you handled it. Right? Many people said, man, that was a good way of handling it. Right? So that's the lips of many shall declare his wisdom. Verse 25. The parable of knowledge are in the treasures of wisdom, but godliness is an abomination to a sinner. Right? So pretty much in the treasuries of wisdom are wise saying. Right? The parable of knowledge are in the treasure of wisdom. So it's in another way, the treasure of wisdom are in the wise saying. That's where the treasure is. The treasures of wisdom. It says sinners, but godliness is an abomination to a sinner. So godliness is an abomination to a sinner. Keeping the law make no sense to a sinner. Keeping the high holy days doesn't make any sense to a sinner. Abide by rules and regulation, that's not a sinner's concern. They break rules. Right? And we see it times and time again. That's why you have court system. Every day you have so many. They have to, reschedule them because they have cases for years. Right? For years, they have so many cases that they got to handle because we are a world full of sinners. And think about it. In the time Yahushua was around to the time now, sins has multiplied. Astronomically, exponentially. Exponentially. It's almost as if, man, what Yahushua did was none effect. It's not like what they did was none effect, is people sinful nature, right? They want that power. But they pursue it in the wrong way. That's all because they want to they confuse. They want to find out who they are. Why am I here? The sense of who am I? The sense of my existence. Why was I created? What am I doing here? Right? They're trying to find out, discover themselves. Right? Because they lost the spirit. So now they wandering around like the in Deuteronomy. We trying to feel around. Who am I? Who am I? Where am I from? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? Where am I going? Why? Why? It's a lot of why. So in the midst of that, you know what? Maybe Islam got the answer. Maybe, you know what? Jehovah's Witness. They teach some stuff. Maybe they got the answer. You know what? Nah, in the Baptist church that I go to, man, the pastor be saying some stuff. Maybe he got the answer. You know what? Freemasonry, they got the secret. Yeah, they got the secret. Nah, the Moors, man, the Moors. Yeah, that's where it's at. So in the midst of seeking, we trying to feel around who we are, you know, where we come from. We're trying to get that power back. We try all kinds of stuff. All right, but there's only one way to get it, through the King, Yahushua. Verse 27. I'm sorry, 26. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments. Right? If we require wisdom, just keep the commandments. If you love me, John 14:15, right? Keep my commandments. And the Lord shall give her unto thee. So from time to time, as you keep the law, then you're gonna find out. You keep this law, dang, this works. Then you do another one. And you keep constantly, man, that thing is working wonderfully. You'll be like, man, I wonder why he or she, I wish that he or she can get it. This thing that she's struggling, I was once struggling. I know how she feels or how he feels. But now, man, things seems like things is different. John 14:15, if you love me, keep my commandments. Verse 26 again, if thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments, and the Lord shall give her unto thee. The Lord, right? Lord, he will give it unto thee. Why the Lord will give it unto thee? Because he's the owner. He has he has it. He can give it to you because he's the owner. He can hand it to you. John 14, verse 15. If you love me, keep my commandments. So if you love the Most High, keep the Most High's commandment, and the Most High will give you wisdom. And how he will give it to you, he will enhance your experience. You will have a better understanding of the thing that you get involved in. Verse 27. For the fear of the Lord is wisdom. For the fear of the Lord is wisdom in discipline. What is discipline? Self-control. Self-imposed standard. That's discipline. Nobody has to tell you to do it. Nobody has to watch you do it. You impose that upon yourself. I'm going to do this, and that's how I'm going to do it. Self-imposed standards, self-control. That's discipline. For the fear of the Lord is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are his delight. Right? Discipline, fidelity, and humility. Humility are his delight. Humility is you understand what you have, where the Most High put you, yet you're not high-minded. You can still go and help the poor and put yourself in the position of the poor. Become the poor so you can help them. That's humility. Go in the corners where Israel is like wild bull in the net. You don't have to become them, right? You don't have to become them, but you behave like them just to help them. Not get involved in what they getting involved with. But you imagine yourself when you were in that same position and you help them. Because as we master this in being leaders, you don't want to be too far where the people cannot see you. Right? You want to be too far when the people cannot see you. You want to have your head in the future, but your feet on the ground. Right? Your head in the vision of the kingdom, but your feet in the ground where people can reach out to you. Especially, you see the leaders of today, they unreachable. You cannot reach them. They have so many security around them, you cannot even get close to them. But Yahushua was in the midst of the people, where when you even try to touch them, you can. He was hard pressed, right? He didn't need no security. He exemplified humility. He was there for them, right? So that's the key. And when you have wisdom, you don't need all security around you. You know the Most High is your protection. Wisdom is your protection. "28. Destroy not the fear of the Lord when..." 27? Right, then I'll read it again. "For the fear of the Lord is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are as the light." Faith and meekness are as the light.
The word weakness means clean.
Meekness. Put yourself in a low profile, even no matter how high you get, right? Don't be high-minded. Just stay low profile, low key. Bind with the people. Bind with the people. Because they are your people to begin with, right? I mean, if you know knowledge and you hide from the people, how can they get knowledge? How can they get saved? Right? The people, sometimes, they're not going to open the door. If they open the door, great. But we have to go out there to them because we have something that they need. That's our job when we have knowledge, because we understand how good this thing is, so we desire them to have it too. That's why we go out there and teach. Right? We don't want to get comfortable in this knowledge where we're eating and they starving out there. Right? We're eating the good fruit of the wisdom, and then they starving out there. They starve of wisdom when we have it all in the house. Kind of like the as a matter of fact, it's a good teaching. The prodigy son, right? The one that left his father's house and he said, "Let me get my portion and I'm out." This is a good teaching. Oftentimes the teaching is look upon the one that left the house, right? But the thing is, he came back, right? He came back. But the one that was in the house, why he didn't go and find him? He knew he was messed up out there. He didn't go and find him where he was at. But he was complacent. He was comfortable in the house eating the good food. Right? He was complacent in eating the good food, but not thinking about my brothers out there. Let me find out. Let me go find him. But he repented and go back. It's the same thing with us. We got to go out there and find them. Right? Verse 28. Distrust not the fear of the Lord when thou art poor, and come not unto him with double heart. Do not be a hypocrite. Right? Do not be a hypocrite. And keep watch what you're saying. Right? What you're saying. Keep in mind what you're saying. If it match up to what you're doing, don't be a hypocrite. This is a call for all of us, right? Distrust not the fear of the Lord when thou art poor, and come not unto him with a double heart. Meaning we say one thing, but the heart is not there. The mind is not there. So it's the same way, like when we talk about the soul of men, it's the mind, the will, and the emotion. We have to bring it all to the table. The mind, the will, and the emotion consist of our entire soul. Our mind cannot be somewhere else, and then we come to serve the Most High. It doesn't work that way. You got to bring it all to the table. We all our heart with all our mind. So we cannot be a divided mind. That was verse 28. Distrust not the fear of the Lord when thou art poor, and come not unto him. Right? Verse 29. Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed that thou speakest. What? Yeah? What thou speakest. So, if you don't know something, I'm going to check it out. I didn't know that before. You know what? Man, I learned something. All right? Do not be a hypocrite, because people are going to see right through it. Keep watch over your lips. If you don't know something and you don't want to talk, just don't say anything. Go find out. Go learn it. And then come back. You have people who they may go in every situation. They know everything about everything. Right? Granted, the Bible said be knowledgeable about all things, but you're not an expert in everything. Right? Know your limit. And if you desire to know something, go learn about it. So we can become more knowledgeable so that we can speak on it. So that's why we have diversity of gifts, and all should help one another.
So in the sense that being a hypocrite, you may even say these things and so on and so forth, but people who know you, where you live and where you work might, know you and see you and see you doing otherwise.
Right. Like the Pharisees.
It's like, wow.
Right, the Pharisees and Sadducees. Yahushua said, they tell you to do this thing, but they don't do it. So don't do after them. Don't follow after them. They say do, but they don't do. That's why when we follow the Most High, we can't have like a secret life or a double life outside. Meaning, when I say secret life, means everything is private. What are you hiding? Right? What are you hiding? The same thing that you saying here, it should be the same thing we practice in private. Right? The same thing we practice in private. It's just like we're gonna read that probably in the second chapter. You telling a child to not smoke, and then your cigarette is right in your hand. You're building a monster. Right? So this is our people with lack of wisdom. So they need to be taught. We need to be taught. Right? Distrust, it says, verse 29, be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so God discovered thy secrets, and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation, because thou comest not in truth to the fear of the Lord, but thy heart is full of deceit. That's what we're talking about. Saying one thing, do something different. Do not exalt yourself and bring dishonor to yourself. And the Most High will reveal what's been hidden. Because the Most High knows everything that we do in private. So our life is supposed to be, what we teach, supposed to be a reflection of what we practice. If we say one thing and we're doing something different and somebody find out, man, that's it, man. You become People, you're not to be trusted. Yeah, not to be trusted, because we saying one thing and then you're doing this. Come on, man. So we got to watch out ourselves so that we don't fall into that temptation. Right? It says, do not exalt yourself. That's pretty much what this one is saying here. Do not exalt yourself, or you may fall. And when you fall, you bring dishonor to yourself. And the Most High will put everything in the open so that everybody can see. But they like, said, man, all he's been talking about, he's a fraud. That's how you see a lot of pastors, right? They proclaim wisdom. A lot of people in the world, they proclaim wisdom. They saying some good stuff until a scandal comes out. Ah, man. He did this. Man, he was always talking about that. Man, I believe in him too. He was my role model. Man, again, get disappointed. For example, when we talk about Bill Cosby, right? We look at him as a role model. Like kids growing up. And then comes in a light, you're like, ah, man, a lot of people get disappointed to the point where they cannot believe it. Sometimes we'll make excuse for them because we refuse to believe that he did that because of the image that he portrayed. I cannot believe that he did that. Nah, they must have put something on him. Granted, that may have happened, but there was some wickedness to what he did. Right? It might get magnified 10 times because, you know, he's so-called black, right? They'll crucify him, but compared to the image that was sold to us, to what is done, we get disappointed. You have a scripture, Yaukanan? So that's what always happens when we admire and make men our idol, especially men who are not men of the Most High, who don't have wisdom. We confide in them, we believe in them, we get disappointed when they fall.
So,
but a righteous man will fall many times and come right back up. Proverbs 6. Right? Sometimes we in total disbelief. Man, I can't believe he did that. And we wish they can come up to say, oh man, he was framed. Man, I know you. But that's when we believe in those.
You say Proverbs 6?
Maybe 6:27.
Proverbs 6 and verse 27. Okay.
So, you know, you mingle around with these, you know, these other nations and so on and so forth, and start to do things with them, you know, sexual situations and so on and so forth with these other nations. You know, like Proverbs 6:27, it says, "Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned?"
Mm-hmm.
Verse 28, "Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned?" So, you know, let's say these nations are vile, you know, and especially, you know, Esau and stuff, and you can't deal with them in certain situations and things like that because their goal is to bring you down.
Right.
You know, regardless of whatever, they want to bring you down. They look for the opportunity.
Right.
Like it says, you know, never trust thine enemy.
Right.
They'll be the first one. Where that is.
And in our cases, we cannot, since we live in a world with the other nation and Esau and everybody else included, at some point in time, we're dealing with the other nation. We're dealing with Esau. Right? We're dealing with them. Buying and selling, we're dealing with them. But now, if we not wise, right, we'll get taken advantage of, and we go in involved in what they getting involved in. They're gonna say, you've been doing this with us. You did this too. But if we come in the wisdom of the Most High while dealing with them, then no matter how much they're trying to set you up, it's gonna turn right back to them. Right? Because we come in the fear of the Lord in dealings. But when we don't come in the fear of the Lord in dealings, we have no protection against their dealings. So it's like it's a crapshoot when you're dealing with the Most High, with the other nation. And it's the case with our people. I mean, when we're gonna go to school, we're gonna get a job, we're gonna get a deal, whatever we're gonna do, they're gonna have to give it to us. We need a job, we gotta go to them. Right? You know how to sing. They own the record company, you gotta sign a contract. Right?
Yeah, Ecclesiasticus 12:12. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. And verse 12 it says, set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
Right.
Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked.
Right.
Therewith.
Right.
So he's right there to bring you down.
Right. And our people will be brought down because they dealing with the other nation with no wisdom. So a man of wisdom will deal with the other nation and still cannot be brought down. They will try and try again. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. But that's dealing in wisdom. But most of our people who are not dealing in wisdom, that's how they are brought down. And they continue to be brought down. So if we read this right here and we apply it as men of the Most High, we're not gonna be faith, and we're gonna be very wise in how we deal with them, right? To not trust them.
I'll read this to link up with verse 30.
Okay.
Exalt not thyself. This is Luke chapter 14, verse 7.
14 and 7.
7 to 11. Luke chapter 14, verse 7. And he put forth a parable to those that which were bidden, when he marked how they chose out the chief groom, saying unto them, when thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee, and him come and say to thee, give this man place,
Right.
and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Right? So it goes into the meekness and the humbleness that goes as an attribute when you come into this truth. Can't let this wisdom get you high-minded, filled with pride, that you now become over people. You look down on others.
Right.
You feel that your seat should be the highest. You feel that you should receive certain gifts and certain things from people because you feel that you're up here. The Most High said, no, when you go into business, go in meekness. It says this in Ecclesiasticus, the 3rd chapter. Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, Verse 17. My son, go on with thy business in meekness. So shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. Many are in high place and are renowned, and of renown. But mysteries are revealed unto the meek. For the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly. So goes into again those characteristics of how you're supposed to think and everything.
Right. Yep, that's how you're supposed
Even
to.
even in the carnal world, even when you're amongst people who are not in this truth, right? And you go into someone's house, they invited you over, like it talks about in Corinthians, someone bid you to a feast and you be disposed to go. Even when you're there, you don't choose out the highest, right? You say, you know what, I'm gonna go sit right over here in this corner. And they come up like, yo, why you sitting over here? I'm just sitting here eating. Nah, man, come over here at the head table, sit up here. Come sit right here. Oh, I got this over here for you. You're like, oh, okay, appreciate it. But there's no fuss, no thing. They're like, nah, man. Listen, my brother. As opposed to you now going and sitting there because you're thinking that because of what you have, you now put yourself up there. Pride is put yourself up there.
Right.
And they're like, hold on, no, brother. We had that seat over here for you. This seat is for such and such. That kind of goes into the spirit of even how the disciples thought. You know, it's like, who's gonna be the greatest Yahweh in the kingdom? It's like you gotta be like this little boy right here. You gotta, convert your spirit like him.
Right.
Then you're gonna be the greatest.
Right.
But they was thinking that they was the first ones that was rolling with Yahweh, even though Yahweh said that they was gonna have 12 thrones. But your spirit, as you on the throne, still gotta be meek. Right. That's why Moses was what? He was meek. Right? Moses was meek and humble, and he was, over everybody. Right. He still carried himself with a certain disposition.
Right. And speaking of Moses, he was so meek to the point where the sister felt some type of way. It's like, I brought this man up. I watch him, navigate on the waters. Right? I wipe him. So now, he's trying to tell me what to do. You gotta be meek. Right? You gotta be meek.
Sister Anna's brother.
Right. You gotta be meek. Say, who you? Now you think the Most I only speak to you? Right? Imagine you have an older brother, now you're the youngest one, and then they come in and tell you, yo, who you? I'm older than you. But that's not about that. It's not about that. So you gotta be meek. Gotta be meek in everything. In everything you do, you gotta be meek. Lowly in spirit. And Yahweh, that like we talked about last night, that washing feet is a prime example. Prime example. And they felt uncomfortable. Peter felt uncomfortable when he said, nah, he ain't watch it. Because he knows he's the master, then he's gonna wash my feet. They felt uncomfortable. But he was trying to show how lowly you should be, how meek you should be. It's not about, it's taking the initiative. If somebody is not there to do something, don't look for somebody else to do it. Even if the position, what you got to do is mopping, cleaning the toilet. Don't look for somebody else like it's beneath you. Just do it. So that's pretty much what y'all, just do it. If something needs to be done, is necessary, just do it. Don't wait for somebody else. Initiate it and do it. So that's a level of meekness. Even though they feel like, you say, if you don't want me to do it, you have no part in this, what we're going to do here. It's okay, now let me do it. So it's not about, the washing feet, but the washing feet it's a lot of wisdom and understanding of meekness and that alone. And that alone. So we finished with chapter 1. We're going to tackle chapter 2. 2 o'clock, we'll get back. 2:02. All right, take a brief recess. All right, stay tuned, and we'll reconvene. Shalom.